Hey guys, hold up, wait a minute. Thank you for joining us. Facebook always takes the longest. All right, here we go. All right, hello there.
What's up, peoples?
Thank you for joining us. I got to make sure that we're both on camera.
You sure you want me on camera?
Yeah, I want you on camera. Scally!
What's up?
Oh, we missed you, man. We miss you. What's up, Dan? I'm so glad you chimed in.
Hey.
All right, guys. So we're on 2 platforms again tonight. Hey, Sarah. What's up, neighbor?
Little thing called Facebook and another little thing called Insta something.
And another little thing called love. Not many people are going to get that song reference.
I don't like song. Hey.
Hey, Melissa.
How those glute machines going? They look good.
Glute machines look great.
You didn't even see it.
No, I did. I
Oh,
saw
really?
her story. Hi, Kim. You both look and sound good. Good, thank you. We're cleared by the master of videography himself. And I'm sure you guys are all so excited that gyms are going to be open next week.
They are.
Gyms are going to be open. We are so excited for this.
Play nice by the rules. The gym owners, whether they like it or not, due to the rules, they have to play by to be nice. So just please play nice with them. Just like you would with the diner, outdoor dining. Just everybody wants it to work.
Follow the rules. Don't mess it up for all the other gym owners.
Yeah, whether it's ideal or not is not the issue. It is what it is right now.
Follow the rules, everybody. Those are my words of advice. Thank the good Lord,
yeah.
Dan. Yes, sir.
And be patient, too, with your gyms. They're figuring it out also.
Yeah, just like they were saying, being patient with the restaurants and whatnot. Yeah. Be patient. They're figuring things out.
And also, especially a lot of these smaller gyms, touch base with the owners. They'll be happy to tell you the best ways to go about things, whether it's best times, if they are taking appointments. Reach out. Trust me, they'll be happy to have your business back as you will be happy to go lift again.
Yes, that is for sure. Hold on one sec, guys.
I mean, I know I'll be lifting nonstop.
You're going to be lifting nonstop?
Up and down.
Up and down. I hope I have the comment section correct here as well. Guys, bear with me. I still can't get used to this new format on Facebook.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. All right. So anyway, hey, Kels, what's up? Okay, guys, so we are discussing a very intriguing topic tonight, and it's a topic that tends to make people feel uneasy and uncomfortable.
Politics and religion. Let's go.
No, we're not. I hate you. Reverse dieting. It's a term that's thrown around. It's something that hasn't been studied tremendously.
In the clinical sense.
And it's something that people
Which would be the only sense. I guess it matters.
Would be the only sense that matters. And it makes people a little fearful.
Yeah, it's just another one of those things where I think some of the, if it fits your macros crowd online, likes to play with reverse dieting and experiment of how many carbs can I eat before getting fat, which is fun sometimes. But that's really not what I like.
A little too extreme.
Yeah, a little too extreme and doesn't really do what you need it to do.
It's another perfect example of how things get a bad reputation.
Yeah, finding loopholes.
Yeah, finding loopholes and just extremists. Just everybody chill out, and we're going to go through all the basics. We have a lot of people at Revolutionize who do reverse diet with us, and it is a huge learning curve for them. And it's something that we really have to coach them, not so much for the scientific and nutrition aspect, but for the mental aspect of it.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's one of those things kind of like macros are and the whole way we do things in general. It's pretty straightforward, but because it's not the norm or what you're used to, people are scared of it. So basically what the heck is reverse dieting? Usually we like to use this technique when you're either coming out of a hard cut, a prep, a diet, whatever it is, or if your results have plateaued or you just feel like you've reached where you want to reach and need to know what to do next to move forward.
Did we kind of define it yet?
That's why I'm saying what it's for.
Yeah, so basically the concept of reverse dieting, I'm stuttering on my words so badly lately. It's the act of slowly increasing your food intake and your macros over a duration of time to find more of like maintenance numbers.
Right, so it's not like, dieting is eating your food, reverse dieting is pooping your food. That's what I thought, but it's not that.
But yeah, it's basically when you're coming out of that hard deficit or whatever it is and making sure that you don't put weight back on. And there's a lot of reasons why we do different.
And when we say weight, unnecessary weight.
Unnecessary weight, 100%. How many people that we know go on severe diets, not with Rev, but severe calorie restricting, detoxes and crazy things like that, and all the weight comes right back on because first of all, the weight wasn't real to begin with. But second of all, because they were so restricted in the first place, they go to severe
Yeah.
food intake.
And that's one of the biggest things about this, I don't want to overcomplicate it in the simplest sense. When you're in a deficit for a long time, just like Michelle was saying, especially if you're doing more extreme things, you tend to go right back to your maintenance calories, which are going to be a huge increase from what they were, or even a binge and an extreme surplus. Like, obviously, those are not great things because your body is going to be in a really unique period post cut or post long deficit where it's really, really good at putting fat on.
Yes.
Makes sense. Your body's like, hey, I have no food. I want food and put fat on. Great.
Yeah, we don't want that.
We ideally don't want that. I want that, but nobody else does.
So, yeah, go on.
So ideally, it's a process that could take, anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to 8 to 12 if you really want to have fun with it and push it, I'd say a little bit. Really all it is when you get off that, whatever that low number is or that point is, you say, okay, moving forward over the next 4 to 6 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks, whatever it is, I'm going to slowly raise up my macronutrients, especially your carbs and fats, to a level that, you and your coaches have decided on, or whether it's your old normal numbers, whatever it is, but you're going to slowly get to that number. I always tell people, rough ideas of what it's going to be, right away, you're probably going to get a 10 to 20% calorie increase right away, and that's probably going to be the biggest jump. And then after that, it varies. I say for men, it can go anywhere from 10 to 25 carbs a week to 5 to 10 fats a week. Women can go anywhere from 5 to 15 carbs, 5 to 10. Obviously, those are really rough, really raw
rough
numbers. But those are really where it works. You're never going to jump right away. And basically, you want to find. I always talk about having your set point, your homeostasis. Pretty much when we're coming out of a deficit, we don't want to make sure we don't undershoot it or overshoot it. We're going to make sure you hit it appropriately, and ideally even can move that needle up a little bit and create a new higher homeostasis, so next time you diet, you're able to do it while burning more calories the rest.
Which means more food, so everybody's happy.
Everyone's happy.
Yay! So basically the people who need that reverse diet, people who are dieting for too long, people who hit those plateaus, people whose calories are too long, post-competition. And
a reverse diet doesn't mean bulk, so a lot of people confuse those as well.
Yes.
Reverse diet can absolutely lead into a bulk, but reverse diet is really meant to get you to your healthy, happy point. So I'm going to use a show athlete just because it's the most extreme example. So, like if Michelle's doing a show and her weight's 125 on show day, or 125 not counting water, I'd say...
That's very light for me.
Well, I don't know, making numbers up. Let's say it's 180 on show day.
Yeah, my show weight's heavier than that.
You'd expect to put, I'd say 2 to 5 pounds on over the next 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how lean you were to begin with, how big you are, but it really shouldn't look fat. It should look healthier. Most people will like their look, especially coming out of a show, that 2 to 4 week period more, especially for photo shoots.
Definitely.
There's some definition you have from a show that doesn't always translate great to life for photo shoots. But for most regular people too, at the time of a reverse diet, you're usually at a point where you're feeling sort of blah. So usually just a little increase in calories will help with your strength in the gym, and it's a really nice cycle.
Tremendously, yeah. And that's a huge thing. And if you're a competitor or just a regular person who wants to increase their muscle mass, that reverse diet is so important to allow you to get more food in, to allow your muscle to develop, to grow more.
Especially coming out of a severe restriction, unless you're a freak and we have some of those, your strength is going to be pretty relatively weak to what it should be. But coming out of that, some people put 20 pounds on in a month after a big diet and go, I got huge. I go, you got huge, but it's not all muscle.
It's not all muscle.
So slowly building that calories back up is going to help a lot, because you're also going to make sure what you're putting on is what you expect. And you're going to be putting on the amount of calories needed for the strength in the gym, so that when you do reach that maintenance period, you're at a new, at least where you were in strength, ideally a new high point, so that once you get into a bulk period, maintenance period, improvement period, whatever it is, you're now working with a higher base rate of strength.
Yeah, and I think that's people's most exciting part of the reverse diet is their strength. They're hitting PRs, they're hitting new records, and it's a really cool process.
It could even be just, fatiguing a little less, performance
recovery.
Better. So it may not be, oh God, I'm lifting 400 pounds out of 300. It could be, man, I was doing reps at 315. I was fatiguing at 315 for 5. Now I do it 5 to 10, no problem.
Yep.
But it's stuff you should notice right away, and it also gives us a good chance to experiment more with your diet too, in terms of food choices, meal timing. So the time to make the biggest adjustments is not when you're deep in a cut, because that's really when your options are more limited, and any change is going to be more you're either going to be more rewarded or more punished for it. It's more you're on the show then. When you're in that reverse dieting, this is the time to experiment and play and find out what works and doesn't for you in terms of lifestyle and choices, not so much scientific.
Right. And as we're talking, guys, if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section so we can answer as we're going along. So people ask, like, am I going to gain weight? Am I going to gain weight if I do a reverse diet?
The answer is yes, but you shouldn't gain fat.
It's not going to be any significant fat.
Ideally, I say once you reach your homeostasis and you put on that, that water weight, that little bit of just healthy fat, you really shouldn't gain much. I mean, even on a healthy bulk, a woman should maybe gain a half a pound to a pound of lean mass a month, if that, and men maybe twice that. So it really should be a slow period if it's going well. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with putting on, I always say, the 5 to 10, 5 pounds of fun in your life, if that means coming out of your hard cut means you've introduced drinking once or twice a week.
Well, Rebecca did a good post yesterday regarding that.
Yeah,
it was like that
one.
extra 5 to 10 pounds is life. It's going out with your friends. It's having that extra slice of pizza. Like there is a balance.
And that's something I always talk about.
Yeah.
I go, for me, obviously I'm not 5, 10 pounds, but I always say, at a point in my life where I'm enjoying my stress foods more than the results I would get from not having them.
Right.
That's a choice you can make.
It's just wherever you are in your life, whatever your goals are, you just have to.
And those, and sometimes it's worth it to change them, and sometimes it's not.
Correct.
But it doesn't mean it's bad or good. It's only bad or good if something you're not controlling.
Exactly. I think the other slight increase that people say, and you had already said this, was that increase in water. So for people that are going into diets that are severely restricting carbohydrates, which for some reason people tend to do that.
Yeah, and even in normal cut, carbs can get,
So when your carbs increase a little bit, you are going to hold on to a little bit more water in the body.
And it's a good thing. You'll usually see it as more fullness in your muscles.
Exactly, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's generally, you'll usually be like, oh, I look better on this. Why aren't I always doing this?
Right.
And it's just not the case. It's just magic.
Yeah, but I want to put that out there because that's like the number one question. People are like, I'm afraid I'm going to get fat.
Yeah,
I'm afraid I'm going to gain weight.
Yep, and that's always the process of it too. I always like to, it's a process you do week by week. It's not something I say, all right, see you later.
Right.
It's something that should be addressed as much as you are in a cut so that you can see if a week got out of hand. Yes, carbs.
Carbs.
It's something that you should be aware of and be like, oh, is it getting out of hand? If you go, oh, you put on a little more weight than we expected this week, we can go, was it because you were hitting it perfectly and we calculated it wrong? Right. Or did you go out a little bit more and it's no big deal?
Right, exactly.
So a lot of times it's finding those answers and sometimes like, oh, I did do that. Silly me, and it's fine.
Yeah, and we already said this, but I just need to reiterate again that it is a slow process. And you may not necessarily have an increase every week. It's all dependent on how your body reacts.
I mean, there's been times I've, again, extreme cases, raised people at 50 to 60, 70 carbs, even way more than that, and seen nothing more than the initial half-pound increase, and that's it.
It's person-to-person basis.
And there is some really, really fun scenarios, and I don't want to get anyone excited about this, where you do a reverse diet for someone who's been plateauing or stuck for quite a while, and their body responds awesome, and they lose.
Yes.
I don't want to... It's the freaking unicorn, but it does happen.
It does happen, and it's really exciting when we do that.
It's not. I say it's like 2 out of 10. It's not that rare.
In addition to that, there have been situations where we would quote unquote reverse diet people, aka give them more calories that are more sustainable for them.
Yes.
And that leads them to not lie about doing the program and secretly hide that they're binge eating or overeating because the calories that they had were just not sustainable for them. So all of a sudden now with slightly higher calories, they're actually doing the program.
Or making better choices and feeling more fulfilled and not having to binge.
So you've got to remember there's that psychological component to it as well.
Yeah, I think reverse dieting is definitely 70% science and 30% magic.
It's just a little bit of magic.
And by magic, I mean mental health and nonsense.
It is. It's
but
very,
also
very important.
Magic.
And also magic.
Yeah.
So that's something that's important too. So for instance, say you're working with us or any program, one sec, and you feel like your calories are too low, you need to talk to us so we can find a more sustainable approach for you that you won't be secretly eating food.
2 great comments. Dave definitely can't lie. Lauren's scary. I don't want to
never lie to Lauren. She knows, man, and she'll call you out.
Yeah, and that's a great question. If you're reversing, should you be backing down on cardio? It depends. If your cardio was high for performance basis and your performance is staying, you don't necessarily need to. But if you're, someone who was just looking good for the beach and really not caring too much about your cardio, you probably don't need to be doing every day 45 minutes. You can probably back down a little bit.
Right.
But I always tell people, you don't need to go to zero. It's always nice to keep a little bit of cardio just for sanity and also to keep the habits up.
Correct. Yeah. So
But yeah,
that's a very
you
good
definitely
question.
don't need to keep up the cardio in terms of calorie deficit as high.
Yes, Annalise with us. Yeah, so that's a very important
Hey.
thing. Yeah, some people tend to go to too far extremes, and then there's other people who reverse diet but do it completely incorrectly that don't work with us, and they think that they're just supposed to throw their calories up through
Yeah.
the roof and stop doing cardio.
Yeah, and-
There is a strategy to this, everybody.
And yeah, like a lot of things, sometimes things will work in spite of you doing the wrong things.
yes.
But reverse dieting also doesn't need to be this epic 6-month journey to get your calories back up. It's usually 4 to 6 weeks is a safe spot. 8 to 12 if either you're super nervous or you want to see how far you can push it.
Right. All right. I like that. What are the benefits to reverse dieting? Well, first of all, you get to eat more food, so
Yeah.
we're happy about that.
But
We talked about it before. Reducing hunger and fatigue. You're going to be able to. Your fatigue's not going to be bad. You're going to be able to feel recovered much faster.
Yeah.
You're going to feel stronger,
Yeah.
and you're going to be at more realistic calories for long-term sustainability.
And as well, I'd say the pie in the sky ideal goals are too is that you can, and again, anecdotal, this isn't, but you can raise that homeostasis RMR a little bit by slowly adjusting your body back to higher and higher
Right.
calories over a slow and steady period of time. It has been a really neat period. So sometimes you see people who are able to diet in really high numbers. You go, oh man, 6 out of 10 times they're a freak. 4 out of 10 times they worked really hard at that.
Yes.
And I work with both clients, so I can fairly say it goes both ways in that.
It definitely goes both ways on that. And we already really talked about the steps of reverse dieting. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to reverse dieting? Things that people should know about? Be patient.
Be patient, but it's super important, and it's one of the most underutilized and hardest phases. A lot of people have a lot easier time getting ready for a cut or a big show, whether it's a wedding,
Because there's motivation.
There's a motivation. There's a specific date you can laser focus on. I would say off-season and reverse dieting and maintaining, those are what really make, I'd say, fit for life people or truly high-level athletes. The ones that can do that, and again, like I always say, it doesn't mean to do it at 100%, but you give me 70, 80 in that off-season, you don't understand how much better it makes your next cut and how much better a position keeps your body and your metabolism. I really can't overstate how important it is.
It's super taking care of your body. You need to take care of your body, especially in a country where everybody's so fixated with either losing weight and then not giving a crap and gaining the weight. There is something in between, whether it be maintenance or reverse dieting into maintenance. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
When you go through a severe diet, or if you're an athlete, your metabolism, let's just call it, it's fragile.
Yeah.
It's fragile.
Well, like I always, used to tell when I used to coach wrestling and stuff, I go, the season's great, but, you're cutting weight, you're wrestling a match 3 times a week. How much improvement are we making? Well, really, it's a battle against how much are we destroying our body and how much can we keep our body from being destroyed.
Yeah.
It's that off season when you repair, you have time to learn new skills, you develop new tactics, just like with dieting. When you're in a cut, we're doing what we can, but again, we're just holding on for dear life a lot of times.
Yep.
The improvement stages are outside of those cuts.
Yeah, and I'm just going to throw this out there. A question that I get very often is, how have I been able to grow and develop through the years as an athlete?
How to be more like Randy?
Yes.
No.
A big thing that I say is, in part of that, besides for the consistent training year round and the consistent correct diet year round, but that reverse diet is crucial.
Yeah,
it's crucial.
Again, I can talk for my athletes because they're just the most extreme examples, but the athletes that finally get their off season together, their preps are done on another level when they finally get it right. Like Deidre this year, I don't think she's on tonight, but
not on tonight,
Jordan
yeah.
is. She always does a decent job in our offseason, but she did a really good job this year. And her prep has,
job.
she works very hard in her prep, but this has been the smoothest prep for her, the highest amount of food for a long period of time, and it's been lights out. Now, I can name 10 other athletes also, but right now she's the one going on.
Yeah, so I mean, it's so important, and just for all of our day-to-day members that aren't athletes.
And take it that point. If it matters for them, imagine what it's going to do for you.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah. I mean, the number one thing is, do not be afraid of food. Food is good. Do not be afraid of carbohydrates. Do not be afraid to eat and nourish your body with the correct strategy behind it, the correct plan behind it, because we will take care of you guys. We're not going to set you up with something that you're going to fail on or feel miserable on.
Yeah, and as well, that's the point.
We want you to succeed.
That's the point of having a coach is we're going to work there with you. If you find something's working, we're going to keep it moving. If we find, no, it's not right, we're going to address it. And the more we do, the more we learn, and the better everybody gets.
Exactly. Communication.
Capiche?
Capiche. You come in for your scans, communicate with us, we track your progress, and then we make changes accordingly.
And then you cough on everybody.
No, stop it.
You don't cough on everybody.
Don't cough on everybody.
All right, you eat your masks.
You eat your masks. That's what I do when I'm with clients. I laugh. I inhale while I'm laughing, and the whole mask goes in my mouth.
Sorry.
Woo! All right, guys. So if you have any other questions, just shoot them in the comments. We're going to wrap this up because that is the bottom line with reverse dieting.
All right, Stone Cold.
That's the bottom line.
You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
Absolutely not.
She doesn't know 1990s, early 2000s wrestling at all.
Bunny
Bunny would be so mad at you.
I know, I don't watch
But seriously, if you guys have any other questions, especially like more detailed personal questions, DM us, ask your nutritionist, ask us. I'll be happy to help you out with this. This is a situation, a topic I tell people, it seems pretty unapproachable because it's not super common, but it's really not that complicated. It's not
complicated, and you can join the rest of the group of people that we have reverse dieting at this time.
And it's pretty exciting when you get to reverse diet and be a jerk to everybody else's unload food. Reverse carbs are kind of fun sometimes.
They are fun. So on that note, everybody, we wish you a lovely evening. I'm not seeing any comments. I think everybody's got the memo.
The memo.
Memo.
All right. Kids.
All right, crazy kids. Everybody have a lovely night. We love you all. Be well. Bye. Bye.